Hello everyone, welcome back to another edition of TK's Parking Lot Picks. It is Tuesday, August 12th. We have 8 games on this Mlb slate today. Season is rolling right along. We are still without the Cardinals on our slates, but who needs them? Eventually they'll get back, and I'm sure it'll be a congested MLB time when that happens. But we got short period of time and a lot to cover. I do like this slate. This is going to be a slate I increase my MLB exposure. I'm going to try to do some single entries tonight. Typically, I try to MME some contests. 20 entry max is usually my style. But I'm going to try to get into some single entries today because there is a spot I really like a lot, and that I will get to later on. So let's get into it. All right, Zach Greinke, 10-3. When I did my research, I did not see a total or line on this game, but I can't imagine it's going to be anything higher than 8.5 because the other side of this game has a viable pitching option, in my opinion, as well. But yeah, Zach Greinke, 6 innings pitched, is 5 hits, 1 walk, and 5 Ks last time out against Oakland. This year he's got 18% K rate, 43% ground ball rate. He's limiting hard contact to about 36%. And he's generating 10% of his pitches for swinging strikes. I think Greinke is a decent option on this slate. I wouldn't consider it a cash play. I think you can find better for less. As far as salary goes, I think if you are looking into trying to grab a win and trying to get different and contrarian on this slate, Zach Greinke is a decent option. Moving on to Blake Snell, 9,400. This will be my cash pitcher, or one of my debated cash pitchers. I might debate him and the next guy I'll talk about here as SP1. But yeah, depending on reports on what we get with Snell, if the pitcher comes out and says he's finally going to get turned loose, they're going to open him up, let him pitch his full repertoire of pitches, his full repertoire of pitch counts and whatnot. Minus 140 favorite and an 8.5 total. Really like that. Last time out, 3 innings pitched, 2 walks, 5 Ks. He did struggle to throw strikes. That does worry me with guys that have pitch count issues early to start the year. So that could be a little bit of a factor when making a decision on a cash lineup. But he is generating 38% Ks, 44% ground balls, 11% walks. So that is high. And his hard contact is really high as well. I'm hoping to see that reduce, but as his arm gets stronger, he's gonna start getting more effective on his pitches. He still is generating 15% swinging strikes, so he does still have some good K upside. Now moving right along to Kenta Maeda, 9,100, minus 130 favorite, 8.5 total. Last time out, 6 innings pitched, 3 hits, 3 runs given up, one homer to boot, with 1 walk and 4 Ks. It's not really electric, but he is 2-0 with a 2.65 ERA. He's coming into his own in Minnesota. A lot of these AL teams haven't seen much of Kenta in his career, so I think he's a viable option, generating 25% Ks, 48% ground balls, limiting hard contact to 27, which is really good. 14% swing strike rate, which is great as well. He is going to have, he isn't going to be held back like Snell. So in determining between them two for cash, I could get the idea of getting behind Kenta against a Brewers team who does seem to be trying to figure it out, but they have a lot of Ks in that lineup, like Smoke, Omar Narvaez. You have guys that are striking out in that lineup, and that's something I do like to target. But homers could be an issue in Milwaukee, as that park is not that big. So we'll see. I like Maeda tonight. Next up, we have Kyle Davies, 8,200. He is an underdog at 160 against the Dodgers, but that's to be expected. 8.5 total. Last time out, he went 5 2/3, giving up 3 hits, no runs, no walks, 6 Ks versus Arizona. Really good outing. He is, which is high for Davies, generating 22% Ks. He's a fly ball pitcher, so only 25% ground balls. So you're gonna sweat some homers with the Dodgers, and that's gonna be worrisome. But I do like him, as he's only limiting 33% hard contact. And looking into his homer or his fly ball rates, Only 9% of homers are home run. Every 9% of fly balls are home runs. So those are really low numbers. I do like that from Davies. He's 2-1, I believe, for the Padres. And I think he's a decent option at 82. Pick up a win. Hopefully he shuts him out, or it's going to get ugly. And then you could really see that A2 salary not pay off. Next up, I have a SB2 cash option I like in Masahiro Tanaka, 7,600, minus 140 favorite. 9.5 total in New York, and that's always worrisome, especially when they have guys like Freeman, Acuna. Acuna scratched last night. Not sure why. I haven't caught those news. I wasn't on the Braves yesterday, so I didn't look into it too much. But Tanaka really good with that split finger. Hopefully, last time out we got 5 innings pitched, only gave up 1 hit, no runs, no walks, 5 Ks. He looked really good. I think you can get some of that bottom. The bottom of Atlanta's order is not that good. Inciarte's not hitting well. Camargo could strike out. Flowers is finally back. I'm not sure if we see him or not, but Tanaka I think is a viable option on this slate. All right, moving along into Jordan Lyles, 7,300. Kind of a flyer, because last time out he did fairly well versus the Angels. He is a minus 120 favorite. 9 total versus Seattle. 5 1/3, 6 hits, 3 runs, a hit, 5 Ks versus LA. I thought that was really well outing. The advanced stats isn't going to tell you anything much. He's got a 16% K rate, 34% ground ball rate. It's okay from Lyles. Kind of a dart throw. Maybe if we get into the late slate, it could be an SB2 option to just pick up some points and not, lose us points in the process. Next up we have, and last but not least, guy to put on the radar, maybe not rostered tonight. Trevor Cahill, 5,700. He's coming off a busted middle fingernail. Has pitched in the AL West for a countless amount of years with the A's and Angels, so he's familiar with the Astros. He did have, last year, he'd only had 7 Ks per 9, 3.4 walk per 9, 17% K rate, 45% hard contact rate. So those numbers not that good. Sorry. All right. 45% ground ball rate, though, and he did generate 10% swing and strikes. So right along in the line with what Greinke does, just doesn't get as much, just gives up too much hard contact compared to Greinke. But I think this game could be a toss-up tonight. I think the Giants, came back and beat the Astros last night. The Astros are kind of reeling in a way. They're 7-10 on the year. Everybody's talking them up, but I've watched these at bats without Springer, and I'm not seeing much upside in their lineup this year. It seems like the trash cans aren't around, so maybe the Astros bats aren't as good, surprisingly. So we'll see. I like Cahill to watch him. Maybe throw a deep dart in GPPs in an MME format, but I thought also viable. So we'll move into hitting while we can. On this 8-game slate, I do like the Yankees, 9.5 total. Voit, they're facing Yanoa. You got Voit, Judge, DJ Hicks. I like those. Moving into Baltimore, you got 9.5 total versus Elflin. I do like this side more than I do like the other. Alberto, Iglesias, Cisco, Santander, Ruiz, and Hayes. Baltimore put up 10 last night. Phillies bullpen, not that good, and they just seem to have a funk surrounding that team. The Phillies side also kind of viable, but I don't like targeting against Wade LeBlanc. Doesn't give up much hard contact, but Harper, Real Muto, Segura, Quinn, and Kingerly, the righties in this side would be something I would target. You got the Twins in an 8.5 versus Lauer. Cruz, really good against lefties. Garver has been not that good this year, but he's always capable of having a massive game. Sano, really good against lefties. Polanco, Buxton, more one-offs from the Twins than a stack. Nats, probably a favorite spot for me. I've been targeting them a lot in this Mets series. 8.5 total versus Lockett. I love Soto, Turno, Kendrick, and Eaton. On the Mets side versus Anibal, I think it's viable in MME formats. You know, you get Dozier, Pete Alonso, Ramos. The righties looked really well in the BVP versus Sanchez, which was surprising, and the lefties didn't look that good. But I also think the lefties could be viable: McNeil, Conforto, and Nemo. Next up, you got the Rays versus Godley. This is going to be a good spot for me. I like this spot. Choi, Lowe, Meadows going to be a top play for me on this slate. Wendell going to be a cheap salary there in the middle of the lineup. Kiermaier is always a threat to have a big game. Hopefully he doesn't, run into a wall in the outfield and get taken out. That's always happening to Kiermaier every single year. Rangers 9 total versus Walker. Walker just had a good outing a couple starts ago, but the Rangers bats and the Rangers team is playing really well. Kind of a sneaky AL West team. If they can get by the Astros and create some distance, they can make the playoffs. Chu, Gallo, Odor, Frazier's batting really well, and Isaiah Kiner Falefa batting in this 5 or 6 hole, and really cheap bat. I don't mind at third base if you need the savings. And last but not least, coming to my single entry spot of the day, the San Diego Padres. 8.5 total versus a bullpen, maybe got a little bit of Gonsolin. The Padres are unbeatable right now and threatening to win the NL West. Tatis is playing like an MVP. Machado's feeding off of that. He just hit a grand slam last night. You got young talent like Grisham. Sooner or later, players like Hosmer, Will Myers, Tommy Pham, some of those role players that are, viable in ways, are going to start batting really well alongside some of these hot hitters. Cheap first baseman that seems to always come up in my late games. Cronenworth, he seems to always get on base, and he's kind of clutch. He's getting a couple of hits here or there every time, and he's always a threat to go deep. Big lefty in San Diego. And this game's going to be played in LA, so not a bigger ballpark. Really, really good for lefties. I don't mind that pick. And Ty France, if he cracks the lineup, batting 5th, another player I like in that spot. But that'll wrap it up for TK's Parking Lot Picks. Thank you for joining me today. As always, please like and subscribe the video. Always greatly appreciated. Help us reach our goal to 1,000 subscribers by football. If you want to get into anything else from FSIDFS.com, we got PGA coming up for the Wyndham Championship. We do have the NASCAR is going to Daytona's road course. It's going to be a fun race to watch. Gonna have to catch that. As always, we have esports, NHL playoffs, NBA playoffs, WNBA with Will Lewis. It's a lot of good stuff going on at FSI. So check us out. Like and subscribe to the video, and have a good day.